What's going on, everyone? Slovosh here, bringing you some more Ant-Man updates from the test center. Today is August 5th, and I believe these updates came out yesterday, and they haven't changed yet. I think this is something that Gazillion is trying to make a little bit better. They said they were tuning some of the damages on Ant-Man's loadout of skills, and some of the updates that they made was that Bigfoot sighting at rank 20 now, it still restores your maximum spirit by 34%, but now they added in the mechanic that for 30 seconds after you use your Bigfoot sighting, which basically you can keep up indefinitely as long as you keep up stomping every 20 seconds, you get 4,000 extra health. So literally, without doing anything differently, I can just stomp once and keep my health up by another 4,000. So that should help his survivability a lot. They also increased the damage on Bigfoot sighting by a small amount, and I know some of his gear gives a lot of plus to skill on this. So this is a great trash clear. This is a great spirit restore. Why they made it even better is beyond me, but I'm not going to complain at all. Bigfoot sighting is easily one of his best moves. It's really good. If you're not using this, you definitely should be. I'd hope that you all are, though. So they tuned that. They made the ant swarms, the little guys that charge up your ant powers here. These don't die off as fast, or they won't right now, and hopefully they keep it this way. I know this is test center, so everything can change, but right now they last for 30 seconds on live servers, and on test center right now they have it so that the duration of ant swarms will last for 45 seconds. So I had jokingly made kind of like a just like a cheese, really low level cheese build. It was just kind of really stupid, but basically I would just have max friends in low places and try and get all my ants to have really good crit rating and stuff like that, and I think it was definite particle. It'd give you ant stats, give more crit hand chance. But anyways, basically I would just cast max friends in low places, and then I would go close make the man and just go invis and stand next to a boss. Basically you don't take any damage. Your 10 times ant swarms would just chew on everyone in the room, and no one would even see you, and you don't break aggro or anything. It was just kind of stupid. But anyways, that build just got a little more viable. But for now, when you're traveling and you're in between mobs of guys, your ant swarms won't diminish as quickly. You'll get an extra 15 seconds than what we had before. So now this will last a lot longer, and you'll get a little bit more benefit from that extra damage if you're in between fights. So that's a positive change there. They've done a lot of work to inch high goodbye. The main complaint with this before was that the range at which you'd hit people with was so small that it almost wasn't worth, in my opinion, taking. You literally had to be on top of somebody. Now for single target, it was fantastic. It was really good against bosses. So if you jump up on top of them and you're already punching them with tiny takedown, you can just do the inch high goodbye and it will hit them pretty much every time unless they're moving. So if you got a boss that's standing against you kind of thing, you can be doing tiny takedown with your left click, and then just like I did here, just left click tiny takedown. He'll stay on top of them pretty much in melee range, and then you can just do your inch high goodbye. And inch high goodbye got 20 more % range on it. I don't know. I'll try and see if you guys can check out this cone that it's got now. Zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so now that's the range of it. That little white circle around my guy. I don't know if you can see that or not, but basically, if I'm looking at this dummy here, I'm not within range, but if I get right about here, I am now within range of hitting him, so I should be able to. So if I hit D, it makes a sound, but I've noticed that you still have to be a little bit closer. I mean, you're basically still on top of people. It's not really that far from where it was, but now you're getting your inch high goodbye. Has a little bit more range. It's a little more forgiving. Still not that great, but they added an extra mechanic to it where now you get to execute people. So basically every 1% health that the target you're hitting has missing, you get 1% more damage dealt to them. So this move just becomes better and better and better the weaker a boss gets, until basically it just adds 50% more damage because they got 50% health loss kind of thing. So it's going to stack really fast. So now I think it's a little bit more viable, especially for like single targets. Like if you're rushing terminal bosses or something like that, you're going to want to use inch high goodbye. And then obviously if you're going to use inch high goodbye, you should probably be doing fistful ants, just because of the passive bonus of using the two within 4 seconds of one another. You get 100% more damage. I still believe that all the ant costs for everything are the same. I don't have that many ant cost skills, but I have noticed that they generate pretty quick. Like that was one punch, that was one punch, one punch, one punch. I'm just getting them really quickly now as compared to before. I don't know if the proc rate is a lot better or what's going on, but it's definitely adding up a lot faster. I'm just clicking one time, and every time I click one time I'm getting a whole bar. So I just generated 10 ant swarms that fast. This would be really good if you like to use for the colony, which also got a good buff of like 30% more damage almost. All the rest of the things, it's not really that fantastic. I know the two AoE skills like Drone Strike, it got a little bit more damage, so did Red Hots. Fistful Ants actually got a little bit more damage too. I think it's like 14% or something like that. And then the Ant Decoy, which I was using quite a bit just to take some heat off of me. I'd put a 1 point in that probably. I didn't obviously on this build, but it's worth a point if you're having survivability issues, or you're just you need some guys to not attack you for a second kind of thing. For 2 ant swarms, you basically pop it up over here, and it takes pretty much all the lower level guys off of you, and you can focus on the boss kind of thing. So if I'm rushing a terminal boss, I'll usually do like friends in low places before we go into the battle, jump up to the boss with like bouncing bullet, and then start pounding away at him with this. And then if I'm taking too much heat, I'll just lay one of these ant decoys off to the side. All the other guys besides the boss will probably go and attack it, while I can focus on the boss. And if the boss happens to look at the ant decoy and you're getting that like not paying attention to you kind of damage, Think Small gives you a huge passive bonus of damage rating against enemies not targeting you. So it ends up working out really well. So basically, I wanted to give this update a little test here. I still think that Bouncing Bullet is probably going to be a little bit better for endgame, especially for like the Cosmic Trial. I mean, I haven't really dabbled in it too much, but Bouncing Bullet, you're just invincible as you're doing it. So I would say this is still a super good viable choice for like dodging certain attacks and not being vulnerable to like projectiles at all, because while you're traveling between your 8 targets, you're basically invincible. This will help you clear trash. This will help you clear guys that are really stubborn and use lots of projectiles, things like that, stuff that you don't have any really good defense for. And as you're doing the Bouncing Bullet, if you have like life on hit or you're using a med kit, you pretty much are just getting positive healing the whole time. So like if you pop a med kit and then just Bouncing Bullet for like 3 cycles, you're probably going to have all your health back. I just his ability to stay alive because of Bouncing Bullet and nothing else is almost ridiculous. I mean, he's got super good, because of his health regen on his gear now, because he's doing melee hits. You get whenever you hit with physical power, you gain 192 health regeneration for 6 seconds. So that's health regen whenever you pop like a med kit. I think which is it from, this one, or whenever you use a med kit, you get spirit back. I know when you drop lower health, you get some health regen. Yeah. And then I'm using some other items. I know the nano poison artifact, that's really good for health regen. The spider clone serum is really good for health regen. I'm using like a life on hit core. What the hell is it? So I gain 400 whenever I hit somebody. I got 3-to-1 core as well. That helps when you're doing your spirit. The only thing I'd say that, if you're having survivability issues, what you could do is get an invulnerability core and maybe 400 health on hit kind of thing, and you'd probably solve all your issues of staying alive. Other than that, I would say that if you're farming bosses and you're not trying to like trash clear, I would run this build. And basically, obviously you want to do the story mode so you get your extra points here. I'm kind of lacking in them right now. I think if I did the story mode all the way through and got all the quests, I'd have enough to max out my drone strike and put 1 point in ant decoy. But basically, I'm still recommending tiny takedown for your single target DPS.
Ideas, I guess?
Bouncing bullet is my right click. That's your trash clear. That's your oh shit button, pretty much. I mean, you're immune to a lot of crowd control, I would say. You're immune to a lot of, skills all around. I haven't even quantified how many things that you can't be touched by when you're doing this, but it's amazing. If you're having survivability issues as Ant-Man, try using this before you do anything else. Before you even switch your gear, try using Bouncing Bullet instead of Bioelectric Blast. Bioelectric Blast is really fun to use, and it's a great trash clear, and the weekend is good. I've seen builds where people use both, just like 1 point to Bioelectric Blast to spread around the weekend. That'll give you some more survivability, but just overall, I found that Bouncing Bullet's the way to go for endgame stuff. But now that they've added Execute to Inch High Goodbye, I'm going to probably try and move this into my rotation, especially for farming bosses with all your gear on. And let me equip all this real quick. We'll see what kind of damage numbers I can get. This is pretty much my gear that I have on my guy. It pulled over nicely for the test center this time around. But let's see what I can do on just single target DPS. Okay, so I pretty much trashed him. I didn't do like a timing thing or whatever, but Inch High Goodbye is now shredding people because of that execute mechanic. I don't know, maybe I'll try and do it on this guy too real quick. And I'm not really optimizing my build or anything like that, but I'm getting my health. Kind of clunky right now, sorry. Obviously I'm overcasting the drone strike and everything. I'm not doing perfectly, but it's killing people very fast for single target. And now if you're doing AoE kind of stuff, you can lay down 3 of your drone strikes. That's why I'm still recommending it over Red Hots. Red Hots, let me throw it on just so you can see. I don't think they've improved the graphic of it. I could be wrong. Let me try it. So it looks like it's a huge area, but what you actually notice is down in the bottom left, and of course I'm in like the worst fucking spot ever for you to see it. Down in the bottom left, or I think it was the way I was looking. Yeah, hold on, let me switch my guy to look that way. Oh my god, this isn't possible. Here, we'll try looking this way. So you should see a little circle down here. See a little circle down by my hotbar? Maybe look up. That'll probably give you the most view. Okay, so that little circle over by the stash, that's actually the size of Red Hots. You think it's this giant white area, but that's just the area in which you can cast it in, but the little circle is actually the AoE effect. Let me get some ants here. Let me see. It's just, the graphics are not good. And I don't believe you can have multiple up. Yeah, you can only have like one up at a time. And the only thing to tell if it's actually on someone is if there's little like turds on people. So there's like little shit all over top of them. I don't know. I don't care for it over Drone Strike. Drone Strike is very clear cut. You can see where it's at. You can lay down 3 of them at a time. Yeah, you're not getting the vulnerability, but I can tell everyone in that zone, which is a lot bigger of a zone. See how much bigger the circle is? Everyone in that zone is getting affected by it. I know that for a fact. I can see it. I can have 1, 2, and 3 all up at one time. So this whole area is getting coated. These guys are attacking slower and they're moving slower, so you're basically negating damage, and they can't kite away from your stuff if you are doing like a Bigfoot sighting or something like that. But still prefer Drone Strike as my AoE. So, but if you're clearing mobs of guys, you could do the Definite Particle. That has a nice little ring AoE. Oh, hit the wrong button, sorry. Ring AoE there, and then now you're pumped up, you can do your Bouncing Bullet and just bounce between guys. And then what I like to do is lay down a couple of these every once in a while and keep bouncing. And then come in with a Giant Stomp, and that should pretty much clear anything on your screen. But I guess in addition to all that, the Fistful of Ants has a really... Let me come down here and then show you up by looking up that way. Fistful of Ants has a pretty big AoE range too, and besides the cooldown, this is pretty cheap. It does a shit ton of damage, so I mean that right there is enough. Plus, if you don't actually have to hit someone with the Inch High Goodbye to add the extra damage to it, so if I did that real quick, and then boom, did that, you can see I'm critting for like 1,000,000, or brooding for 1,000,000. And again, my gear is not optimized. I'm not, a pro player or anything like that, but it does work very well. So those are some of the changes to Ant-Man that are coming. I wanted you guys to see those. I wanted you to see that they still haven't, at least on Test Center yet, they haven't updated Red Hot's graphics, so I still would not take that in my loadout if I were you. It looks like Bigfoot sighting just got even better. Inch High Goodbye just got even more lethal. Some of you are probably already using this combo. I mean, it's pretty much spelled out for you in all of its gear, and basically in the 2 skills themselves, like, hey, I synergize with this one, use me kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend Inch High Goodbye and Fistful of Ants, especially if you're running bosses only, you're just doing boss killing, this is the way to go. If you're doing trash clearing, there's other builds out there, but still recommending Bouncing Bullet over Bioelectric Blast just for survivability and in-game, like running Cosmics and stuff. If you just have a bunch of guys around the boss, you'd be surprised. It's almost like Ricochet Laser for like Cyclops. Whenever you were fighting a boss, you were kind of always hoping that there'd be like another guy that creeps up into your fight. That way you could shoot your Ricochet Blast at your boss, and then it'd bounce off the other guy like 1,000 times really, really fast, and you just see the boss's health like melt. Same thing with Bouncing Bullet. Like, just do your single target stuff if the guy's around you, and then if a guy comes creeping into your range where Bouncing Bullet can link between him and the boss really fast and bounce back and forth, he just melts. And always stay buff with Definite Particle. And now that Bigfoot sighting gives you, look at that, at rank 40 I get 7,000 more health. That's pretty much permanent, 7,000 more health as long as I can remember. And they even give you 10 seconds window to make sure you're doing this correctly. As long as you cast Bigfoot sighting every 10 seconds, which if you're like me, you're spending mana nonstop. I don't have any mana generators except for Bigfoot sighting, and I still don't have any problems. I mean, yes, I'm using River of the Soul, but between this and Bigfoot sighting, I don't have any mana problems, and now I'm basically benefiting twice from using this. So I'm just going to jump from 23,000 health to 30,000 health right now. Now, could you imagine if I actually had health on my costume, or if I used some of the Omega nodes that like added extra health? Like, which one of these is that? It gives you a percentage. Yeah, like 1% base health. That probably stacks crazy when you do that stomp. I don't know. I mean, I usually run Elixir of Mortality anyways, just because I don't wear any gear that gives you like oh shit or a second shot kind of thing. So I don't know, guys. It's just it's all positive stuff that's happening to Ant-Man. I don't think he's got any more gear changes. Everything they did a little while ago with making his health regen come through his gear and added some extra health, stuff like that, getting some more defense. Basically, if you're dropping below 50% health and you're punching people, you have crazy health regen. And if you're using shrink powers, which is basically bouncing bullet or tiny takedown, you're getting tons of extra defense for 6 seconds, which is like all the time, so it's pretty much permanent. Using area powers, which, you know, you got drone strike, you got your Bigfoot sighting, fistful of ants, you're getting that extra attack speed, blah blah blah. It all stacks, and basically it's just, there's not too many builds that Ant-Man can do as of right now. There's not a lot of build diversity, but what they have done is they've made this one build, which basically centers around Inch High Goodbye and Fistful of Ants, just really good. So this is what I would recommend for when the next patch comes out and Ant-Man is going live with these changes. Everything could still change. I know that it's in testing, but I think the patch is coming on Thursday, the 6th of August, and if that is true, these changes will probably all be there. I have to honestly say that Bigfoot sighting is becoming like maybe too good. I hope it doesn't get nerfed, but I will take it where I can get it. And Ant-Man needs some love right now for sure. What I'm currently working on with Ant-Man is just trying to get his uniques up. So what I've been doing is farming a lot of the influence, doing a lot of influence missions, trying to get the ability to up all his gear from 63 to 69, and then I will probably add all the challenge bonuses on and all that good shit. So that's my update of Ant-Man, guys. Today is the 5th of August. These changes are on Test Center right now. I just wanted you guys to see them. They all look positive compared to what he's at right now. It's all positive damage, so basically this patch is a giant buff for Ant-Man. Some of them are very good, and he's looking like he's going to be pretty solid. I wanted you guys to see that. I wanted you like, comment, subscribe to this video, and I'll catch you guys next time as either Ant-Man or Mr. Fantastic. Peace.